have you spilled anything else on your keyboard recently, Hannah?
No, but I do have all these drinks. I was literally about to mute myself so I could pop the can. And I had the thought, I was like, I should be so careful right now.
The drink thing is so real. I feel like it's just I don't is it just a girl thing because I'm always at work carrying like my water and then my coffee and like sometimes I'll have like a soda or something at lunch and it's like nobody else is doing it. And I'm like I don't know why I feel the need for so many drinks, but I do.
I've almost always got three especially if I'm home. Like I'll have my water bottle, like a seltzer water to have a fun drink, I don't know. And then I'll have like tea or coffee or something else going on as well.
Yeah, that's me too. At work, it's like I have a thermos for coffee, and then I'll have my water bottle, and then same thing. Like maybe if I go out to lunch or something, I'll bring like a drink back. I don't know. On the days that I'm in office, nobody else really does it either. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, why isn't anyone else just having like at least three drinks at a time at their desk? And when I'm home too, same thing. It's like um seltzers is just like I have to have I don't know, man. I have to have seltzers in my fridge.
Yep.
And Tony makes fun of me all the time for having seltzers because he doesn't like them, but I don't know, man. I love seeing seltzers and seltzer flavors. And oh, when you were holding up the cans earlier, you were showing us like your cans and stuff.
I'm showing you my
Um
cans.
yes, your cans.
Jesus.
Riley almost snorted whatever she was drinking.
um I was just thinking about like how with there they are again. I was just thinking about how like canned drinks always I don't not always, but like for the most part have such fun artwork. I mean, yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, breweries, cideries, whatever. But I don't know, man. Whoever like these artists out there that get employed by these places that are just like, yeah, we got this like sick ass cider. Can you make some can art for it? I don't know. They always get some such great artists for these things.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm a sucker for good branding. I feel like I'm not like I'm not a brand person. I'm not like super picky about clothes or just about anything, but drinks will get me. If I'm like walking down like the beer cider aisle at a store or something, I will absolutely get got by good branding.
Yeah, because there's so many beers too. Like if you go to I
Hmm.
feel like we have Total Wines around here. If you go there, it's just like these huge long aisles. And so it's just always, yeah, like who's got the cool looking can or I guess flavor is probably secondary. But like it's first like what's that can look like?
Yeah, when I was in I mean, I'm sure there's some places that sell this in New York too, but when I first saw this brand in Colorado last year, but there's like this food marketplace, and other than having food, they just had like shops too. So it's like a kind of like a food market slash shopping center kind of thing. And in one of their stores, they were selling these drinks that were the brand was called Recess, and a lot of them were different, like canned mocktails, and then like they just put a lot of bunch of these random fucking words in there, like adaptogen and shit, but it's like sparkling water. And I was like, "Ooh." And then the can artwork is pretty simple, but like they just looked so pretty, and that's automatically what drew me to them. I was like, "Oh, that's
Ooh,
the nice looking whatever those are." Had no idea what they
Yeah.
were. And I just bought one simply because the can looked really nice.
adaptogen is a crazy word.
Infused sparkling waters, and then they have like, I guess, supplement powders too, but I just saw the cans and I was like, these look cool.
I definitely think I've
Nice.
seen these in stores before. I don't think I've ever bought any. What is an adaptogen?
Beats me.
Sounds cool.
Adaptogens are herbs, roots, and other plant substances that may help the body manage stress and restore balance. So just some tea leaves, probably.
Mm,
Could help you
yeah.
though.
It might help you.
Honestly, just having a nice sweet drink that helps me relax, you know? That's why you gotta have all the drinks. It's like, what's your life come to if you don't have a little treat for yourself, you know?
Gotta have a treat.
Exactly. It doesn't matter when my last treat was. I need a treat. That's the mindset. Like I could have just had a treat, but I'd be like pass by a bakery and be like, well, I mean, I
I
should just
gotta.
get myself another little treat.
Yeah, I've been packing lunches for school since I'm out like all day long. And I've learned that the trick is I just get like I take a couple of literally like fruit gummy snacks and I like shove them way to the bottom of my bag. So then anytime I'm like, God, I just wish I had like just some kind of little treat, just something. And I'm like, oh, I've got fruit gummies. And
Hmm.
there's like a couple in there too. So I can do it a couple days in a row and get away with it before I have to restock my secret snack stash that I forget about.
It's like so much better when you forget about it too. I feel like the
Hmm.
treat wears off if you like remember it's there. It's like its potential starts waning.
It's just part
Uh,
of lunch. If you pack it and you're like you eat it with everything else, it's just part of
Yeah.
your meal.
It's not special anymore.
Yeah.
yeah, the surprise or like the sudden like, oh, hey, look, there's this thing here that looks nice and sweet or is like
Yeah.
considered a treat for me. Might as well, it's definitely like not a planned thing. It enhances it being an actual treat if you're like, oh, it's a surprise because you forgot about it. It's kind of like in the same vein of if I order something online and I forget about it and then it comes in like weeks later and I'm like, oh shit, what did I order?
Yeah.
True.
Ooh, a present
Hmm.
from past me.
Yeah. Like thinking about lunches though, I'm just thinking about how like I didn't really have too many of these when I was a kid, but I do remember having them once in a while, just like how shitty Lunchables were.
I loved them
Hmm.
as a kid.
I love them too, but like as I got older, I was just like realizing how shitty they were.
True.
Awful.
What's sad is like my favorite was the nachos, and like that's just some corn chips. Because I also
Mhm.
didn't like the cheese, so I would just eat the chips with like the little bit of salsa they give you, and it's like that's just corn chips. That's not a lunch.
Yeah, but again, it's that psychological thing where you're opening up the package in a way that you're like, ooh, this is special.
True.
And there's got to be something too with like the size of it. You know what I mean? Like it's small and it's like this. I remember people were hyped to see the pizza ones. I feel like those are like the shittier ones. Like if you had to rate Lunchables, and also too, there's like a lot more. I don't know if maybe it just happened after I grew out of Lunchables, but like I feel like they came up with so many more Lunchables nowadays. Because I was watching someone do like a they're like rating Lunchables as an adult, and they bought so many different kinds, and I was shocked to see the variation in Lunchables now.
Have
Oh
they
my
like
god.
improved, or is it just the same but different varieties kind
It's
of thing?
it's probably just different variety.
Grilled cheese,
Oh, that's a good idea.
chicken nuggets. Although this one's weird. It has chicken, it's chicken dunks, sorry, not chicken nuggets. With chocolate cream cookies.
Wow.
A
Cookies
weird
and nugs.
combination. Yeah, we never had Lunchables as a kid. They were definitely I think they were too expensive for us. But I remember also being like obsessed with the pizza ones. And even as a kid, I think I remember I would like finally get them like I would trade with my friends in lunch or something and I'd get them and I'd have one and I'd be like this is disgusting. And then I'd forget about it and then like 3 months later I'd do it again.
Yeah, like the cardboard pizza bottom that you're
So
supposed to
bad.
it's so gross,
It was always
but
kind of
like
cold too.
yeah, and it felt and tasted like cardboard and but you're so excited. Like you're just like, "Man, I get to make my pizza." Yeah, no, I'm just like thinking about that now.
Are you supposed to toast them?
I don't think so. Or at least I don't think I ever did, because like you're a kid. You're not allowed to have microwave or toaster privileges.
It just seems like they would taste better if they were hot.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Why like who ever eats cold like pizza? And obviously cold like leftover pizza is delicious, but cold you made it and it's cold? Like that's
Pizza ingredients.
Like
yeah.
purposefully.
Like you just never heated up the cheese?
Hard to say. Kids will eat anything. kind of the same level of shittiness. I used to love, my parents would not buy them. I loved like the cosmic brownies. I
Mm.
was obsessed with them as a kid. My parents would give me lunch money through like fifth and sixth grade, and we had vending machines in our lunchroom, or
Hmm.
our lunchroom cafeteria. Uh, and I would always spend my money on like three of them and not eat lunch until finally one day my mom sat me down and she's like, I know that you're not buying actual lunch in the cafeteria. You need to like buy responsible food and stop buying whatever shit you're buying from the vending machines. And so then I stopped eating cosmic brownies, which was sad.
How did she know?
I think I was supposed to put money towards like my lunch balance. Like
Oh
they had
yeah.
accounts that they ran, and so I think I was supposed to put all of like they gave me like $10 or something, and it was
Yeah.
all supposed to go towards it. And instead there was no money in my account and I was just buying stuff from the vending machines.
She like keeps giving you money and it keeps like sending a report saying like you have no money in your balance.
I think so. I don't remember enough, but I think I got snitched on by the system.
Yeah, because I remember my mom would put like periodically put money in my lunch account so that I could just go through the line and just have lunch money. So I
Yeah.
think my mom would probably pick up on that too if I was like spending a whole bunch of money on random shit and it was like way more than just a regular lunch. She'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing with your lunch money?"
It's
I
not drugs. Could be worse.
Definitely not. Just cosmic brownies.
Just cosmic brownies.
I bought the Swiss rolls literally just the other day because I hadn't had a little Debbie treat in a while. And I thought those were like they're all kind of bad, but I
Mhm.
thought the Swiss rolls were maybe like one of the better ones, but I still have a few in there because there's just not that good.
I knew someone who really liked the zebra cakes.
Mm.
And I never really had one until I was in like college. And so they were just busting out zebra cakes like in between classes. And I was looking at the like they had like the whole box of them, but like I was looking at the box and it was like because all of those are pretty much made by the same company, right? Like
Mhm.
Yeah, little
um
Debbie.
so because I always see them like in the same area in the grocery store too. It's like their own shelving.
Yeah.
Um But I was like, "You know what? I've never had a zebra cake." And they were like, "Why you gotta try one?" I tried one and it was great and sugary, but like maybe I would have liked it better when I was a child. But, kinda going back to the cosmic brownies, I really didn't like cosmic brownies, but there were, like, so many instances as a child where I feel like I received them as, like, a treat or, like, a reward or something, and I had a friend who really liked them, so I would give her all of my cosmic brownies, and she was, like, so she was for it, like, all for it. I just show up sometimes and be like, "Hey, this is for you." I just, like, toss it at her, she'd be like, "Fuck yeah." Super excited. I'd be like, "I got this from some reading thing," and she'd be like, "Yes, give me all of your cosmic brownies."
Yeah. No, they're not as good as I remember. I bought them, I don't know, months ago, whatever it was. I bought them again because I was just like, I haven't had one in literally like a decade. I just thought they were so good. They've got to be at least like a little bit good. And then I ate it and I was like, this is pretty underwhelming. Pretty disappointing. I could make better food at home.
Yeah, they've got that like definitely overly sweet taste and then just like really processed. Like you can't put your finger on it, but it's like no fresh baked good taste like that.
Yeah, the
And they have
texture's like fake. I'd probably still eat it if someone gave it to me though. I just don't think I'd spend money on it ever again
maybe if you're really hungry, yeah.
if I was desperate.
If you're stranded on a desert island.
Would you eat one cosmic brownie?
Or die.
I actually just had someone ask me like today while we were headed back from class. I think it's like a classic kind of like it's not an icebreaker really, but it's just sort of like a would you rather situation. If you were starving, filthy, and exhausted, like which of the three would you take care of first?
I think it's gotta be food. Well, I was gonna say food, but then I know some people say they can't sleep when they're hungry. And now I'm trying to think, is that me?
Well, you'd be fine though if you ate first.
Which would you do first?
Yeah, like so if you were starving, exhausted, or super dirty, so would you shower first, eat first, or go to sleep first?
Yeah, I think food, because I think it would distract me enough from sleeping if I was still hungry when I went to bed.
It's gotta be food or the, I'd have to clean myself somehow first. I mean, I now I'm thinking about it, it might be like m me feeling filthy would be the utmost importance because I feel like just being uncomfortable, like, I'm already uncomfortable with being hungry, but, like, and I definitely wouldn't be able to go to sleep with either of those things happening. Like, if I could smell myself, then I'd be like, "Whoa, I can't what how am I gonna be able to go to sleep?" And then, of course, like, going to sleep hungry, that's a terrible feeling. Just well, also, being awake and being hungry, fuck
Hmm.
that, like, that's also terrible. Couldn't imagine trying to just ignore it and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get some rest now." But, yeah, I don't know. I think probably, I'd have to clean myself first and then find some food.
Yeah, yeah. When she asked me, I was like, probably food first. But then we were talking about it because we were coming back from lab, so we'd been outdoors for several hours, so we're really sweaty and gross. We're starving and we're all exhausted. And so I got home. I told her I was like, I probably food first. Like I'm gonna go home and have a snack, and then I'll take a shower. And literally, I got home, took my shoes off, and just went straight to the shower. I didn't even think about food.
I feel like I haven't been super dirty recently, but I feel like when I'm exhausted, I just wouldn't care, but I don't
Ooh.
know. That's a good question.
That's the worst for me. I think sleep absolutely comes last for me, no matter the other two. I think it like maybe depends a little bit more, but I definitely can't sleep while I'm dirty. I hate it. Ugh.
I guess I'm just thinking about, like, times where I've, landed after, like, a long day of flying or something like that. Maybe there's been several well, I mean, I don't know, I'm just thinking about the last time I even flew. So, like, last year I went to Colorado and I took 3 flights there and 3 flights back, so I had a couple changeovers, but, like which is I hate layovers anyways, they're stupid and annoying, but, um, it was just, like, there's, like, some the waiting time in between depending on if that's long and then which always, it's fine if it's like an hour, but still just the fact that I have to get off at a gate, possibly walk to, potentially the other side of another airport, maybe 2 times, in order to get to my
Yeah.
next flight. And then, like, maybe you start really early in the day, and then you end up at your last location 8 hours later or something like that. And then I'm like, yeah, then I have all those 3 things. But I'm sure that it's like maybe people are thinking like, "Oh, you're on an island, stranded," and that's like those 3 things are to the, like, a very extent of what you could be sleepy, hungry, and filthy, but I guess that's, like, realistically what I'm thinking of. And when I landed in Colorado, I was just like, "I need a shower." Like, that was, like,
Yeah.
the first thing. Like, I showered when I got up that day, but I still was like, "I need another shower, and then I'm gonna go get food, and then whatever." But, like, that's what I'm thinking, like, how I can apply it to something that I've done. So, yeah,
Yeah.
shower first.
I would just say that is a good icebreaker.
The next one, very stupid. I was at a wedding this last weekend, and after the reception, there was like an after party, and we're at a bar, and I'm talking to a bunch of people that I don't know. And I got roped into this conversation that these two guys were very passionate about. What is normal milk for you? Not like cow's milk versus almond milk or whatever, but like skim milk to whole milk. What's normal? What do you have in your fridge as like your go-to drinking cereal, whatever milk?
I feel like growing up, like when I was younger, I feel like my parents were always buying 2%, but then like later and like if I ever buy dairy milk, I feel like it's always skim. And I honestly don't really know the
Ooh.
difference, but I don't think I've ever bought like whole milk regularly.
Yeah. I think mine's kinda similar. Growing up, I think my family definitely had 2% in the fridge. But then, once I moved out on my own, it was like 1%, and then Tony and I don't really drink milk that much anymore, so if anything, we just have almond milk now.
Mhm.
That's like what we'll use for milk, like if we have cereal or and neither of us really drink milk, so it's really
Yeah.
just for cereal.
Yeah. They were very passionate about this. They asked me and I was like 2%. Like I also don't particularly like drinking milk. So for me it's just for like coffee or baking or whatever. But as a kid too, like I did drink milk then and we always had 2%. And I said I no sooner got the words 2% out of my mouth and the guy just leans and he's really drunk. He leans and he just goes, "Fuck you."
Jeez.
Apparently, they had been trying to convince everyone else that whole milk is the normal milk. And I was like, ooh, it's like just drinking whole milk, though, like a glass of whole milk. That sounds awful.
Heavy.
That's so heavy. And they were like, no, that's normal milk. I was like, I don't know.
It is called whole, which makes it seem like it'd be normal. Like, is it 100%? Is that what whole milk is when we're talking about
I
2%?
think so.
That's a lot. That's a big. I don't know the last time I even tried whole milk because that's a big difference percentage-wise.
Like I only even at coffee shops, like usually I get whole milk at like a coffee shop, but it's because what they offer, and a lot of them don't have 2%. But even then, sometimes like I feel like I can tell.
Also because at, like, coffee shops too, it's like you're not just drinking the whole milk, like, it's being mixed in with your drink, so it's like you're not it's different
Yeah,
from just, pouring a glass at home, and then that's your drink, so yeah, no, I can't even remember either the last time I had whole milk, to be honest.
I think except for coffee, I don't know that I've ever had it otherwise.
Yeah. What did they serve
But
in schools? Did you guys have milk at school when you're like a baby? Actually, even in
the
high
little
school, they.
cartons,
Yeah, the car
you,
oh, yeah,
you could
what?
pick though. At least at
Oh,
Oh,
my
I
school,
don't
you could
even
pick between.
know.
I think it was like I feel like it was all the healthy ones. It was always like skim and 2% as opposed to 2% and whole and strawberry.
I loved when they had strawberry. That was just sugary though.
Yeah.
Did you guys have milk bags? I never had milk bags.
No.
Bags, no. We had like the little like mini cartons.
I had cartons too, but that's all I had, so but, I transferred because I used to
Milk
go to private
bag.
school up until 3rd grade, and then everything after that was public, but then I remember people were saying, like, in early elementary school in that school district that I transferred to, they were like, "Yeah, did you guys have bags in private school where you came from?" I was like, "No, how does that work?" And people were like, "What? That's crazy. I can't believe you didn't have the bags." And I was like, "I don't even know how that would work." So, only had cartons.
How does it not just like explode? I feel like you would stab it like a it's like a Capri Sun but less ergonomic. Like I feel like if you try to stab that, you're just gonna shoot milk everywhere.
I'm sure it happened, for sure, especially if you're, like, the age that these people were saying they were. It sounds like it was prior to 4th or 5th grade, so
This is like a gross water balloon.
yeah, because I wouldn't put it past small children to, like, chuck that at each other, you know? And then just,
Oh,
like,
100%.
chocolate milk bag explosion bomb. You didn't
Yeah.
like it, and you're like, "Yeah, your mom," and then you just, like, throw the milk bag at them, and it explodes on their face, and then you go to the principal's office, or your parents come to pick you up, and they're like, "Why'd you do that?"
I just throw the milk at Johnny.
"Johnny was talking shit, mom."
I think the one on the left of this picture is literally the brand that we had, Wholesome Farms. And if it is, then I think that's literally we had 2% then because I remember the blue cartons.
Yeah, but now that you say it, I do feel like they had like a light blue version that was skim or something. But like I sent a picture of the plastic thing. That's what we had in college, or not college, in high school. It like switched from cartons to plastic bottles. I have no idea why.
Huh.
Because it's the same school district. Like, why would you be ordering different?
Changed for their whole school district at that time then, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
true. Like I just grew up like out of it, but I
Yeah,
was
like, maybe
like
the whole yeah.
assumed the kids were still yeah. That is how it happens, isn't it?
Oh, I actually literally just found an article that's about New York State schools and their milk supply. And the picture has fat free and 1%. I think this is literally I think that's the lineup that I had as a kid.
The milk lineup.
Yeah.
That's probably yeah, that's probably what I had too.
Hmm. Yeah, it says it's across New York State.
I didn't even remember having options. I was just thinking it was like regular milk, chocolate milk, and then we had like apple juice or something if you didn't want one of
Oh
those.
yeah.
They had the juices.
Did you guys have like a favorite school lunch? Like when they offered it, it was like, oh shit, they're doing this today.
I
Mm,
don't think so.
I feel like I always got pretty hyped for. We always had pizza on Fridays,
Mm.
but sometimes they had like round pizzas, and I don't know why they were different, but I think the
Oh,
round pizzas were really good.
I think they were those like the pan pizzas or whatever.
Yeah, but they were like
Yeah.
this big. They were tiny.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
No, I
we
don't
had
think I had one.
Ooh, no, you know what I do remember was school, not lunches, but breakfast. And I think sometimes they'd have them for lunch too. The French toast sticks. Those are the
Mm,
best. That was the best one.
I do think we had that sometimes too. Everyone was obsessed with the Bosco. We called them Bosco cheese sticks. I don't know what Bosco means. I've never heard that outside of my school lunches, but they were literally just like giant bread. You know how like bread, like Olive Garden breadsticks, they're just like long and round. You know,
Hmm.
it was like that, but with cheese in the middle. But it wasn't like super good cheese or.
We had those too. I think Bosco's just the brand.
Okay, everyone loved those. Those were pretty good.
Oh, those really do look like breadsticks. Just
Which is crazy that like we were so hyped for cheese bread, like
right, yeah.
so mid.
Those desperate times. School lunches were so bad.
Oh, this is something. It's kind of related to what we're talking about, but it's just like a little something I wanted to bring up to you guys because I thought it was funny. Like I laughed so hard when I saw it. Someone was someone said that they were talking to someone about like the like mid to late 90s, and they were talking about like the styles and stuff back then that people were wearing, like clothing and whatever, and they were just like, yeah, that's what you wear in the late 1900s. And I was like, no, they didn't refer to the 1990s as the late 1900s. But I just I was like, when people say that shit, like you thinking like 1800s and like 1700s, not 1998 or some shit.
We're
That's
a
crazy.
quarter of a century away from the 90s.
Jeez.
Man, life in the late 1900s.
That's so crazy.
These college kids keep complaining to me. They forget how old I am sometimes. And I was working in a group one point this week, and this kid, his name's Christian. He's pretty funny, but he's kind of like a classic college guy where he parties most weekends and like comes to school on Monday and he's exhausted. And he's complaining. He's like, God, he's like, my back hurts. He's like, I just feel so old right now. And I was like, Christian, shut the fuck up. You're literally like 6 years younger than me. He's like, no, I'm really sore. I'm too young to feel like this. I was like, I don't want to hear it. You're running on 3 days of half a dozen beers every single day. I was like, if I did that, I would just not make it to Monday. It's like, you're just normally tired.
He's like, I wonder why I'm so tired and sore. Must be because of my old age.
Yeah. God, why am I physically exhausted and my head hurts? Ugh. And then another kid, someone was like, they listed off a year, and the instructor was like 2003. How old is whatever that? It wasn't even 2003. I guess it would have been. Yeah, no, exactly 2003. And they're like, how old is that? And like the teacher was asking for the purpose of like trying to get us to do math, and one of the kids just like very quickly was like 21. I was like, oh, they're born in 2003. That's why they can do that so fast.
I don't even want to think about it.
Mm-mm.
That's so gross to me.
I feel like I'm from the late 1900s.
Mhm.
What the thing that gets me is that when it's like right now we're in the 21st century,
Hmm.
but it's 20 is the year, and I don't like that because that's hard to remember. But that makes the
Yeah.
2000s seem old, kinda. You call it the 20. Well, no, I guess it sounds futuristic. Because I feel like everyone would be like, oh, the 21st century. Did you guys ever see this cartoon that was called, it was called like Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century?
No.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
never mind. But it was supposed to be like futuristic because it was like, oh, 22nd century. And I,
I definitely thought like growing up that when we were in the 2020s, like stuff was gonna be crazy. Like like I don't know, I couldn't even explain it to you, but I just it's disappointed me is what I'm trying to get at. Is like now that we are here, I'm just like, well, this is not what I envisioned when I was a young child and thinking, man, when we get to the 2020s, it's gonna be all so futuristic. Now we just have I don't know. AI is just trying to take over the world, but it's like kind of not, and it's just invading all the space it can, but it just you can still tell. for the most part.
Yeah. No, I've been getting like ads recently that are like, this is clearly AI. I know it's gotten better, but like there's just a vibe to it that's hard to miss, I feel like. So in Sherlock Holmes and the 20th century or 20 sorry, 22nd century. Um I do like that it's supposed to be futuristic, but it seems like all they really did to make it in the future is to give people like robot arms.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was about other than solving crimes. Obviously, it's Sherlock Holmes, but I think that was pretty much the extent of the futuristic stuff. Robots.
They're like kind
Yeah,
of
all right.
cyborg like.
I think it was on like
It's
PBS or something. I don't know.
it looks like it. It's
Stupid.
also like mostly just one guy.
Like the
Like everyone else is normal, but the dude with the big like mustache and the bowler hat, he's like the only
Wait,
one with robot
I
arms.
think
is that
that's
supposed to be
Watson.
Watson?
Yeah, that's supposed to be Watson. Cyborg Watson. I don't know who.
Yeah, the one I see, I mean, unless he's like that in all of them, I'm only seeing one of them, but it's like basically the only part of Watson that, yeah, it's just his head. It's just his head. That's the only part that looks human. The rest of him is just, he's cyborg. That's funny.
So that's
we
why
just didn't we didn't know what the future was gonna look like.
that's why saying 21st and 22nd century sounds futuristic to me
Yeah.
because of this cartoon.
Well, because then you get like screenshots like this where it's like they still didn't know how computers were gonna progress. Like this is still just a
The
90s
smallest
desktop.
screen.
Yeah. A
It's still
tiny
like,
screen, but so chunky, like a monitor.
Mm-hmm.
It's just huge. Like it's clearly still like a 90s desktop. It's not futuristic at all.
That is one thing that we've gotten out of out of our modern times, not, like monitors that don't uh feel like they're if you drop them, they will go through the floor, or you could injure someone with them. I mean, you could still injure someone if you really wanted to with any monitor, but still, it's like the difference is very it's in your face, like the old ones.
Well, yeah, now you would
true.
also break the monitor or like the computer or laptop. Back in the
True.
day, like you might break the screen, but the device will be fine.
True.
Yeah. Or you
Things
break your
were more
floor,
durable.
but
Yeah.
not
Hmm.
the not the monitor.
Like cell phones, like
Oh
the
my god.
Nokia phones back in the day, those like bricks.
Hmm.
Man,
I
durability 1,000.
one year I lost my phone, and I had like one of those old ones at my parents' house, and we found it the following spring, and I had like dropped it outside under the snow, and you can't find it in the snow, and so when it like thawed, we found it, and it was still like functional. Like it just sat outside in the snow and the elements, and it was still chill.
The hard difference is crazy, dude. And then now you drop like an iPhone and it just from like half a foot and it'd be like, oh, you gotta get a new one.
They're like hundreds of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds.
What are they up
More
to?
like
Thousands
I think
now?
they're over 1,000 now, new.
Yikes.
Like new models. That's bad.
Yeah, whenever I have to get it like an upgrade because I'll use my phone until it will no longer be compatible with like the most up to
Yeah.
date stuff. Literally last time I had a phone upgrade
Same.
was back in like I want to say 2018, and I think it's nearing like my
Yeah.
phone is nearing. It's an iPhone, but it's nearing like where they're probably not going to be able to update it any longer. But
Hmm.
and the other thing too is I don't really. I mean, I'm sure there's someone that can explain it to me, but or maybe one of you guys know. But I remember like when I did do an upgrade for this, the smaller phones, like the actual phones that could still kind of fit in your pocket or your purse
Hmm.
or whatever, were more expensive than like the larger phones. And I just always thought
Hmm.
that was stupid. And it's still like to this day, like smaller, like actual smaller phones tend
Hmm.
to be more expensive.
Hmm.
And it doesn't make sense to me. But I remember like when I went to go get my phone upgrade, I was like, yeah, I want this one. And he was like, oh, you don't want this bigger one? And it was like 3 times bigger than the one like my phone right now is still it's pretty compact. And like that's my purpose. Like I want it to be I want to be able to pick it up with me and take it someplace and not feel like I have to lug it around or that I'm carrying an iPad with me everywhere I
Yeah.
go, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, or a tablet. And, because I was like, that's like I feel like one of the purposes of having a cell phone. It's a mobile phone. It's small, compact. And, when I was explaining that to the guy at Verizon, he was just like, "Oh, well, this one's just got, like, a bigger screen." I was like, "Again, not what I need." I just needed
Yeah.
to text people and call people and, like, maybe use the internet. Well, yeah, use the internet now for sure. But, like, I was like, "I don't even need that big of a screen." Like, if I wanted a bigger screen, I can get a tablet or I can, like, go on a computer or something, but I'm
Yeah.
good with having, like, a small phone.
Okay, here's a question. What for you is a computer task? Like if you had to buy an airplane ticket, is that a phone or
Hmm.
a computer task? Like would you do that on a phone?
I've bought tickets on my phone, but it feels really weird and I don't like it.
Okay, I know where this is coming from. It's because they say millennials use
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely one of those millennials that do that.
Hmm.
I have also like done I don't know, like made reservations for places and bought plane tickets using my phone, but I just don't I need to see everything and I don't like scrolling in and like seeing all the
Yep.
information. I'm definitely one of those millennials that the what are the Gen Z will make fun of them be like, yeah, you guys need laptops and desktops to make airplane purchases. And I'm like, at least I can see all the information. That's all I
Yeah.
need, man.
That's how I feel too though, and it's weird because I feel like there's a lot of things that Tino won't get on board with the newer generation stuff. But like he will just like start to do like important tasks on his phone, and I'm like, let's move this to the computer. Like especially because sometimes I'm trying to help, and I'm like, let's get on that thing because like we also have shitty phones, so like shit doesn't load well, and it's like I don't want to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah. I feel like I have this like built in response where my brain is like, it's riskier to buy big things on my phone as well for no reason. Like, it's not like that I'm
Yeah.
at any more or less risk. Like, I'd make the same choices. I'm still putting my credit card information into it either way. Like, but my brain is just like, you can't do that on a phone. What if, what if someone sees that? But
Yeah,
I have to so much though. Like, if you're out and you're traveling, like, sometimes you gotta, but I don't like it.
yeah.
Mm.
I also heard that they started making fun of millennials for having the ankle socks, like the no-show ankle socks. And then I think I was like out and about and then I read this article while I was like waiting for something while I was out. And then I looked down and I was like, "Oh, well, shit." I was like, "They can see me a mile away then." 'Cause I was wearing no-show ankle socks and I was like, "Well, fuck. They're right. They're 100% right."
You had to. I feel like when we were teenagers, like it was embarrassing if you could see your socks. And I now I like don't care and it doesn't matter, but it's just so ingrained. It's like, well, I gotta get low rise. Like it
Mhm.
looks silly if I don't.
For most of my when I was younger, I made my mom buy me ankle socks because it like you're saying, it just wasn't cool. Anytime she bought me tall ones, I was like, no. But now as an adult, she still buys my socks because every Christmas she's giving me socks. But like I think they must just be more popular because she's just been buying me the tall ones for years now. And at first I
Mm.
was like, whatever, I don't care anymore. And now it's like cool, I guess. And I was like, okay. Just my mom's the one making these fashion decisions for me.
Percent is like they love the tall socks now. And then some brands, like certain brands like wearing New Balance sneakers. Like
Mm.
that's like in. People
Hmm.
fucking love that shit. And then the people wearing it will be like 18 years old and like, you guys like this shit? Like if someone
That's
rolled
cool
up
to
to
you.
school with a pair of New Balance sneakers, they would have to call their parents to come pick them up because they'd be like, I am getting bullied. And then another brand too that I've been seeing come back is the Champion brand. It's like
Hmm.
Mm.
the athleisure, you know, like people wear that all the time now. It's just like just wherever just running errands, just chilling and it'll just be like a Champion hoodie and all the different kinds of because it was like solid colors, right?
Hmm.
That was another one. I feel like if you came to school, they'd be like, "Oh, you're poor for wearing that," because it was like a cheaper brand. I don't know if they made it more expensive now, but like it was like a cheaper, very solid brand, and I don't know, it was clothing, but people would make fun of you for it, and then now I'm like, now it's cool. Okay.
It really I really looked into this new trend of fashion things because I literally bought New Balance like 2 years ago because I was old and my feet hurt and they're really comfortable. But then people started wearing them because they're trendy or whatever. Um, I started wearing baggier pants again. I stopped wearing skinny jeans because they're more comfortable, and now baggy pants are back in. And
Oh,
I think I have a couple of Champion sweatshirts because they're comfy and
they're
they're not super
comfy.
expensive.
Yep.
And I had that realization at school pretty recently where I was talking to a couple of other girls who were also like were almost like identical in age, like within a year on either side. And I was chatting with them and someone was like, "Well, you're not as old as them, Hannah." And I was like, "I'm older than them by like 6 months." And they're like, "But you don't look." I was like, "Well, part of it was I looked down and I was like, well, I think it's because I'm not wearing skinny jeans and you can't see my no-show socks. I think genuinely I'm flying under the radar because my fashion has really lucked out for these like this 1 year of time. Hip with the kids right now."
I feel like I can shapeshift when because I still have all my skinny jeans, but I've been buying baggier jeans, and I literally feel like 5 years older or younger, depending on if I wear the baggy or
Yeah.
skinny jeans. Like I feel like I could dress up and look older, or like dress down and look like younger.
No, I think I'm just old. Like I haven't really I haven't really changed my style that much. So people still it's like it's real easy for them to pick me out of a lineup or a crowd. They'd be like, she was born in the probably the earlier 90s. Oh.
It, but I still think it looks cool. Like I still think like I do feel like whenever I'm wearing more Gen Z clothes, I feel a little stupid. Like I feel like
Yeah.
a little immature and dumb. Whereas like especially like at the office, whenever I see like a clearly probably older millennial, maybe even older, whatever the generation above that is, wearing like a like fitted jeans or fitted like work pants, they just look so like classy and cool. And I'm just with my baggy jeans at work, I'm like, oh, I look like an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like my style has to change completely if I go between because I do think I have like a pair or two of skinny jeans left. I haven't worn them in ages. I should just get rid of them. But back when I would wear them, it's like that with a big baggy sweater of some kind or uh, black and white stripes. I don't know why that was so popular for so long, but that
I,
was
s-
that was such a thing.
yeah, I still have a t-shirt that's black and white striped, and I just keep not putting it on because I'm like, no, I don't like this one, but I
Yeah,
can't. I feel like I have a hard time getting rid of clothes. Do you guys do that often? Like donate your old clothes?
I get rid of stuff pretty regularly. I've been trying to buy things that are more like sustainable and long lasting. So I've been slowly getting rid of things that don't hold up well. But, you know, people give you things, you pick things up on travels and stuff like that. You just slowly accumulate stuff that you have to get rid of again.
Yeah, I'll do like a mix between donating mine and then trying to find some company that'll just like see if I could sell some clothing that I've barely really even wore. Because if you can sell something back. But there's some places like in person. I know there's a lot more like online companies nowadays that are starting to like um ship you like a bag with like a mailing label that you can ship to
Hmm.
them and they can go through it and whatever, because there's a couple places I can think of like in person that have stores near me, but they're very picky, but at least then it's like the people that you can ship these things to, they'll just chuck it or like donate it or something, and I don't have to worry about it at that point. But it's like when I go to these places in person, they'll be like, "Oh, we'll take two out of like the 25 pieces that you brought in," and then I'm like, "Wow, I gotta go. I gotta go somewhere else." I'm just lazy, so I'm be like, "Well, I just want the convenience of just sending it all, and they'll do that part for me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never tried that. That's a good idea.
Kind of going back to like the clothing thing though, I think that it's easier to see the difference between like how people dress, and you can kind of clock them on their age a little bit easier with I think women, especially like
Hmm.
in the workplace,
Hmm.
um, because I think in the workplace, at least at my workplace, a lot of the men dress pretty similarly, but the age range is uh, pretty vast, except for one person. He dresses like the same all the time, and everyone knows that he's like the oldest of the bunch. He's just got these, and also it is. He's just got these different colored vests that he'll
Yep.
wear over button-up shirts, and he wears them all the time, literally every day, and that's just his wardrobe. But the others are pretty much like I think a lot of the men really do just pretty much dress like pretty similarly, but it's easy for them to kind of blend in. Like they all just kind of wear the same thing, no matter if they're in their early 20s or early 30s or mid 30s or whatever. But then like the women will be like, some of them will be in their maybe in their 40s or something, and they'll wear something. Maybe some of the women will dress similarly to that are in their mid 20s or late 20s.
Hmm.
I think that the clothing is definitely like more like spread out, and it has more variety with the women, and at least in my workplace, than it does for the men.
Yeah, I think trends carry over more strongly to women's like daily wardrobes as well. Like I feel like a lot of the guys I see like on campus and stuff, when they're if they're like college aged, some of them are definitely like you can point them out from a mile away, like their style is so strong. But then you get to people who've like started working or doing anything like that, and their wardrobe just becomes like pretty standard. It gets a lot harder to tell right after that.
Mhm.
Whereas women, it's like, well, we kind of have to dress up most of the time, I think, a little bit more. Like our clothes don't pass for uniforms as easily.
That's true.
Do do people you work with dress like what's the business wear? Like are they wearing do they wear jeans at all or is it more fancy like slacks and stuff?
The younger ones definitely wear jeans. Like, I mean, it's like Friday is supposed to be casual, but honestly, no one really cares anymore.
Mm.
But I think that yeah, people do wear jeans throughout the week. But I think a lot more of the men too will just wear like slacks. You
Mm.
won't catch me wearing slacks though. It'll just be like I'll wear like longer shirts or like oversized shirts and stuff, and then like leggings, and then like I'll wear like in the fall it turns into like booties or something. In the summer I wear leggings a lot, like as my bottoms, but then it's like maybe dresses or something in the summer. But it also helps too that we're not really in the office. And I think that's also why it's become much more relaxed, at least in my workplace, because we're all hybrid. So it's like people don't really care, and we're not really looking too hard anymore. And I think because no one's really like and also too, like it's just way more flexible in terms of, okay, well, I worked longer earlier this week, so I'm gonna work fewer hours in the office. So sometimes people like dress down even more, and it won't even be a Friday. So it's like I don't know, it's hard to tell, but
Hmm.
I think it's pretty like if anything, we'd say like business casual, but it's definitely more casual.
Yeah, I feel like the same. Maybe a higher percentage of. I always think when in tech, like there's this premise of like it's fine to wear jeans and a t-shirt. So I do feel like there's a good chunk of people that just do that all the time, and I do that most of the time. But then like there's also people in my building that are more businessy, and they will wear like there's like women who wear heels and stuff. But I think it's just a personal preference, like because sometimes I dress up more, and it's just because I feel like it that day, which I think is pretty rad to have that flexibility.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like it also depends on who you have to have like meetings with more regularly. I don't know if there are people who have to like meet with higher ups more often because I feel like my boss at my last job was probably even more casual than I was 95% of the time, but then every once in a while she would randomly come in super dressed up and I'd find out later it's because she had a meeting with like all the CEOs of the company or whatever.
Yeah, true.
Well, until next time, bye bye.
Bye.